Get some weird stuff stuck in my head. I don't know.
All right, all right. It's 8 o'clock. What do you say? You want to get going here? We can wait
Yeah.
another minute or two.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, go or yes, wait.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Brett and Scott half hour of crazy. Welcome to Digital Coats of Pain. Thanks again for joining us this morning. This morning, I'm going to throw the agenda up in a minute here. Present my desktop. Brett, let me know when you can see it.
Okay. I'll let you know.
Okay. Are we good?
No, not yet. Yep, can see it now.
All right, excellent. So this morning, what we wanted to do is, Brett and I yesterday, we and Janie, we went to a meeting yesterday in Lansing. But before that, we were talking about just proposals and how we're putting together the proposals. And I showed him an example of some stuff we're working on. He showed me some examples of what he's working on, and we kind of realized that there might be some need for just going over proposal building and maybe talking a little bit more about how to be consistent even amongst the teams. We're talking about, especially with digital products, the same product, and there's a way we can share information between our teams, things that have worked with both, things that we can build upon. And so we just in talking, we thought, this might be a good time to kind of go over with everybody, just kind of breaking down what a proposal is and what we should put into them. And Brett and I are going to go through a couple examples. We do have different styles of how we're putting them together. And so today's agenda is basically talking about breaking down a proposal. We want to talk about, when you're putting together these things, making clear objectives for our customers, really restating what their needs are. We want to talk about defining those marketing objectives, what we're choosing for them and why it's important. Kind of explain each option and cover those feature benefits and deliverables. We want to define our investment, what they're going to invest with us, and again, kind of reiterate what we've talked about, but break it down so it's a very clear solution for them. And then we want to talk a little bit about adding some additional recommendations, things that may not have come up, but you as consultants and experts can recommend for these, customers for either future use or just things that you think that could really help them in their marketing efforts. So we're going to go over a couple examples. I'm going to pull up something that was recently put together for O&E, and then Brett's going to go over some Livingston. Mine is a kind of a simple, just a real basic one, and Brett's actually has some really good detail in terms of, if you've got someone who has a little bit more, need and more statistics. We want to let you both know, or both teams know, that we're going to be working on a folder with shared information that we're going to break it down sort of by products. Now, Janie has worked on a playbook that we're going to be able to use as well for our future slides. We're going to create something for you guys on the G Drive that you can go to, that when you're building your own proposals, you can pull this information from, whether it's by product and whether it's by a case study, but then you can build it, and there's some consistency. And that's what we're trying to aim for, is just some consistency across the board. Again, these are just examples. We know that, some of you out there have built your own proposals, and, we've seen proposals that are a little different than these. These are just ones that we thought were going to show you kind of how we've been doing it, and we do want to get to a point where we're having a professional front. We're having some professional consistency across the board. Sound good?
Yes.
All right, let me get to. Well, first off, I actually wanted to show everybody too, and Brett and I talked about this yesterday. There's certain tools you can use when you're building proposals, and even really in your day-to-day process. And a lot of you may already know this, but if you don't know where the Snipping Tool is to use for doing work, I just wanted to go over that real quick before we even start. So under your programs, and Brett, can you still see this, I hope?
Yeah.
Okay. Under programs, if you go to the accessories folder and open that, you scroll down a little bit, you'll see there's something called the Snipping Tool. And again, some of you may be using this, some of you may not. Now a snipping tool, I usually keep it saved in my toolbar down here. So you can see it's right there. I use it almost daily because it really does help me when I'm, I see something that might interest me that I want to hang on to or save a JPEG for that I might use for future proposals or presentations. So if you click on it, you'll see that it kind of dims out the background. And what the snipping tool does is just that. It's like basically digital scissors. You can use it to highlight something. And so you see here, I've highlighted this. As soon as I let go of it, so you kind of hold down your mouse, you highlight it, you drag across the area that you want saved, and it just basically puts it on to like it opens this, like you can paste this somewhere else. So if I wanted to go to a new slide, and let's say on that slide I wanted to paste what I just clipped, it's there. So if you need some help finding your snipping tool, let me know. Again, I like using this for anything. If I come across something that I think would be of use, I use it. When I'm building my proposals, I use it. I know Brett and I we both use it a lot. So, if anybody needs some help, let Brett or I know. We'd be happy to walk you through it. It's just something that comes in handy when you're doing your own proposals. So moving on. So this is a proposal I just wanted to go over. This is one that I created with Joanne recently for RAM Creations. And again, this is just how I've been putting them together on our end, just to kind of have a consistent color scheme and layout. It's not the only one that's out there, and it's not, it's just one that I had suggested from what I had learned in terms of what a good proposal needs. And I know that, Brett and I even talked about this yesterday. We probably want some consistency more in this background. I don't know if you noticed the Michigan.com logo is a little bit wonky looking. Probably having like a white background would help that stand out a little bit better. So just, there's some tweaks that we can make on these, and that's why we want to get some consistency in the long run. So again, this is one we put together. And so when I was talking about objectives, typically when you're doing a needs assessment and you go in to meet that client with a proposal, what's important is just to really reiterate what you discussed, so the client knows that you heard what they were saying. And so, putting together some objectives from that meeting so they know that you heard them is really important. I usually try and do 3 or 4 bullet points. If you can pull a quote from them, like if they directly say, I need to sell more X, or I need to get more of this person in my store, use that. That's really a powerful thing. If you can state back to them, well, you told me this. It really helps reiterate that you heard them, and it just strengthens that, you are going to come up with a strong solution. Another thing, too, is what I like to do at the end of going over these objectives with the customer is ask, do we cover everything? Is there anything else that we missed? And that way, too, it opens it up in case there is something that, maybe we didn't hear right, or that they thought of in between the time that needs assessment happened and your proposal presentation. So that's just something I suggest. Again, we're going to work on getting something that's, consistent, but that's just something we've been doing. So usually my first slide is going over the objectives from the prior meeting. Then we talk about the proposed solutions as the next slide. So typically we'll go over what we're suggesting that would work for them based on those objectives. So then, just kind of break it down briefly, use maybe some brief bullet points on that. So going down the line from there to then just kind of building and showing slides to enhance and show the features and how it's going to benefit the customer of the products you're suggesting. So in this case, targeted email. This graphic here is one I use the snipping tool for. So you can see this is something that was off the Geo Wiki. Just use the snipping tool, paste it into your proposal, and it looks nice. So that's how you can use that snipping tool. And again, Brett's going to show, this is a very simple, just to the point proposal. Brett's going to show when he's picked up some more details and some more information. He'll show you guys that in just a minute. So I'm just going to run through this quickly here. Again, some slides that are helping to reiterate, the presentation, what you're proposing from Geo. Typically with email blast audits, I like to have a slide to kind of break down what those numbers were, and it just helps explain to the customer more and really clear and concise why we're suggesting it and the numbers that we can really target. I like having that, yes, we can indeed reach 15,755, not just a flat number of 10,000. It's nice to show that we actually can get exact. And I also like to also put a date on here just because, those audits are only good for 60 days or so. So we want to make sure that they know there's a time frame on that. So that's it. And then, in terms of a recommendation slide, then breaking down, again, kind of just brief bullet points on why we recommended it, what exactly they're going to get, and what their investment would be. So this is, again, just a very simple presentation that we put together. In this case, we added some print options. And towards the end, and when I mentioned additional recommendations, in this case, our original discussion was about one thing, but we've, in discussing future options for them, added some additional recommendations. And that's always good just because we want the customers to know we're thinking ahead for them. We're planning ahead. And so in this case, we did that. We were recommending some Facebook marketing and also some of the holiday packages for them. So, it's good at the end if you want to add either some case studies or additional recommendation. That's just, again, it helps solidify your role as a marketing consultant and looking out for that customer's best interest. So this is just a simple, basic one. Again, I know other people use simple or different background color schemes. I think if we're going to try and find some consistency, I know, Brett, you're going to show us kind of that Gannett slide that you've been using as a background, which is great. And so that's it. I mean, that's just a simple one. And I know some of my team, they've used this in their presentations, so where do you go from there, Brett? Do you want to add anything, and then I'll send the controls over to you?
Yeah. Just go ahead and let me get on here.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
I'm going to stop presenting, so now it should come over your way.
Okay, let me know when you can see mine.
Okay. Yep, it just came up, Brett.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to show you a couple examples real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm going to show you a little bit of the proposals, the different proposals that we put together, and kind of show you what maybe a higher tier looks like from a different, a lower end tier, and just different options that you can have. The first one I'm going to show you is was from a client that we did a while back on Dean and I's. It was one of Dean's accounts, and it was BTI, which they're a technology company. And this was actually a lot of this information that was on here is from an audit that we had, and I just ended up, kind of tailoring it to our own market and our own brand for Michigan.com. But like Scott said, I used the template that Geo has. I've just ripped it from their presentation deck that they've had, and I save it under that template file, so I can send that all to everyone once we're done. And what I do usually is that I'll have the first slide. I'll have the first slide up, and then I'll put a white background right here and kind of make it a little bit transparent. You can do this by basically going and inserting a shape, like a rectangle, and you can come in here and format the shape, and then you can add the different options that are in here with shadow, reflections, and all this stuff. I mean, we can go into this a little bit more detail on another presentation, but I just wanted to show you the layout for certain things. Then I just basically put the Michigan.com logo up on the right hand and make that consistent throughout the whole presentation. I also put that white background there because the logo that's provided to us isn't a PNG file, meaning that it does have a white background. Like you saw in Scott's presentation, it has kind of that square around it, and it's up to you what you want to do. But currently, I don't have a PNG file for the Michigan.com logo, so I end up using a white background behind it. And then what I do is I usually just copy. I look on. I will go to either the website of the client or I'll just type in the client's business name in Google, and then I'll go to Google Images and search for that, and then I'll just paste it in the background, or paste it on the first page of the presentation, and then I'll put just Modern Marketing Solutions, powered by Michigan.com, and Geo Company. It's up to you and how you want to do this. And then I also put the names of the people that are working on the proposal. So in this case, it was Dean. It was also someone else from Geo Corporate that helped us, Reggie Alcos, and then myself. And so that's kind of what I do for the first slide, and then I go through. This is like a tier 1 proposal. So a lot of this information is from Geo. I just end up taking the graphs and I make them a little bit more have a little bit more creative touch to them. I also take the logo and then kind of a divider, and then I'll highlight all these at the same time. I'll just just copy them. Then I'll just simply paste them on another slide, and then it'll stay consistent. So I'll just give you an example. I'll add a new slide at the very bottom, and since I've copied this logo, all three of these graphics right here, I'll just copy it both. I'll just copy all of them, and then I'll just paste it. And you can do that as you're adding onto a new slide. So when people, I know that a lot of people out there, when they try to put a logo or something, and they'll try to match it up with the next slide, and that it might be off a little bit. It's because that you're trying to make it consistent, that logo over each slide in the same positioning. All you have to do is copy and paste it on another slide, and it'll go into the exact position from the slide that you copied it on. So that's what I do with a lot of my other graphics and stuff. But like I said, this is a tier 1 proposal, so I just took a lot of the information that Geo has. I kind of just spruce it up a little bit. I'll get these graphics, and what I'll do is if you guys haven't used this before, getting graphics, or if you're trying to learn how to get any creative or graphics, I'll just go into Google and see. I'll type in PPC. I'll search for it under images. And then there's a lot of images that are out there that you can use, and then I'll just simply take one of the images from there, and I'll put it onto the proposal. As long as there's no other company name or anything like that. There's also I can take it from the wiki. You can take things from the wiki. I'll show you another proposal that's not as in depth, but right after this one. But like I said, this has a lot of information, and if I'm talking about SEO or if I'm talking about PPC, I'll usually take a screenshot like Scott just showed you of like a Google search result for the current advertiser's products or services, and then the search results, I'll take a screenshot of that, and then I'll highlight what we're going to be doing. In this case, it's SEO, so I put a box, I highlighted box around the SEO results, and that's where it shows that we're going to try to focus on for that particular product, and maybe where they're not ranking or where they're ranking. Gonna go, I guess a lot of this other stuff, some of this I'm just pulling. This is actually from the proposal, one of the proposals that we originally got with this client from Geo. So I just used the snipping tool, and I snipped that out and I pasted it into here, and this is actually the same text, but I just I copied the text and then I just made it bold. I put the font maybe more consistent of what I was using originally for this slide, and I put it in there, and just I guess spruce it up a little bit from what we get from the original proposals from Geo. And again, this is all custom stuff. This is another graphic I just got online for Google Plus. I just searched Google Plus within Google on Google Images, and then just pasted it in here. This column is from Geo, and I just moved it over. I put the Google Plus image right there, and so a lot of this stuff, like I said, is just from Geo. I just like to add graphics and stuff that's relative, and I'll just type in Google and look in Google Images, and I'll get the images from that. And then the other thing that I like to put into to the proposals are the facts, some of the facts that Geo has about each product, or some of the infographics or whatever. So in case targeted email, like for instance, this is on the wiki on targeted email. 82% of consumers open emails from companies, and then 80% of emails opens on smartphones, etc. So I'll just put that on there on all the. I'll put all this information. Take a lot of it from the wiki. And then another thing that I like to do with mine is I'll put at the end, I'll put the metrics reporting dashboard screenshots on here. So it shows, I'll have a slide that says that everything that we do can be tracked and recorded, and we have a dashboard. And I'll just put that in the end of the presentation to reemphasize, how digital works and that we can track everything with digital. And then at the end, sometimes I'll put the how our process goes and what to expect with the process as far as the SLAs or any timeline processes. But that was a little bit more of a technical, not complicated, but more of a technical proposal. This one we just did recently is a little bit more simple, and I'm finding that a lot more of the simple proposals are probably better unless you have a really high-end, client that really it's going to spend a lot of money, wants to know like return on investment and numbers and stuff like that. You don't necessarily need to put all that information in there. So like for instance, this one's just simple search retargeting, social media management, display, and print. I just have 2 slides. One's search retargeting, just made it really simple. And then kind of another benefit of search retargeting is the targeting feature. So I just literally snipped that from the Google Keyword Planner and put it into the deck. And then talked about the deliverables and some of the requirements for search retargeting, but just made it really simple layout. Then went to social media management. I literally just snipped this screenshot from the wiki, and I got this from the wiki and put it in and put that whole piece of information in there, and actually didn't even type up anything. I kind of did the same thing with this. This was from the product catalog from social media management and the wiki. And then I just had a little infographic right here that I searched on for Facebook advertising. And I just, typed in Facebook advertising on Google Images, and then it came up, with this little tidbit of information. So I thought it was pretty cool to put that in there. And then I put the deliverables in here for social media management. Again, I just copied what was on the deliverables page on the wiki program, or on the wiki site, and I just pasted it on here for the deliverables as far as what the launch package includes. And then for display, I just took a snapshot of our local.com, and then just highlighted this area of the box of a 300 by 600 because that's what we're pitching, and then just put the impressions there. Also, the same thing kind of with print. I just I have a little graphic from our print products that I used, and then also I had this on file, and then we just made a really simple, 4-inch wide by 2-inch high, and then what it's going to be the run date for print, and then I put at a glance, your customizable solution. I put all the investment layout right here, so it's really easy to understand. So that's just basically on a rough, just kind of walkthrough of how I put things together and how we put things together over at Livingston. And same thing. I mean, I'm not going to go through each one of these, but
well, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Brett, before Janie had actually sent us over one too from Jennifer Stowers. I wanted to run through that one as well. She just presented this yesterday to one of our auto dealers, and when you get a chance, I want to bring that one up as well. So if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, guys, I think for timing, I think, I hope that every person on this call knows how to do a PowerPoint. And if they don't, we are going to simplify it for everybody. But I actually would like everyone to send us a current proposal currently, so we know where everyone is at. if we could have that by the end of day tomorrow, so just something that you've done in the last 30 days as a proposal. And then, Brett, if you could just pull up that one from Jen Sowers. The difference between these is you guys are, you're really product rich on these, and what's happening, features and benefits of the product, which is excellent. And what Jen's is going to be more about is it is more of a higher client, higher spend client. We have some marketing details. We have some facts in there that Choya can pull, and you guys all have that available to you. If you need some data, some demographics, some things about the market, some things about buying habits and trends and things like that, you all have that available to you. So if everyone, do you have it up yet?
I pulled it up. Can somebody let me know if they can see it? Brett, can you see the Nissan presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, I see it now. Sorry.
Okay, great.
Go ahead if you want to go through it.
Yeah.
Scott.
So yeah, Troy. Wow, this is nice. This really did turn out great here. So I'll just kind of run through it.
Yeah, it's very local. It talks about our readership. It talks about the buying trends of new cars. It talks about just all the data in the marketplace that we have from Scarborough to pull information. And I think, there's a huge fear of loss when you're doing something like this. When you get a proposal that's, $3,000, as long as you're giving her respectable time, there's no reason why we can't pull some of these stats for you. And it really, when she presented it to me, it really told a story, and she drove it right down to a point of why they needed to do business, why she had a solution for them, and how forward. And it's really, and this is how, if you guys haven't seen anything, this is how Detroit does their higher end proposals. So, you can see some similar slides here. So, both Brett and Scott are on the right track, but my concern is always that we're getting, not too much information, enough information, somewhere in the middle. So I'm glad they, decided to, pull this meeting together. We are going to collaborate with Lansing. I've reached out to Detroit and Lansing, and I've asked everybody to send me proposals as well, so we can, consistency and simplicity is key when you're presenting. You can literally turn a client off if you've got too much data. So it has to have, you have to have a plan on whatever you're doing in a presentation. There's actually rules to presentations. So, and how the length and the content and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to kind of hone that in for you guys. The digital playbook will maybe be used as a guide, and we'll use those templates and then throw in some other masters. But I'd like to just see what everybody is doing. So, well, sure, Jordan, the strong recommendation better be the seal in the deal, right?
Yeah,
all right.
basically.
Yeah, sorry, Scott and Brett, just to jump in, but I was
that was great information, and I didn't get a chance to review that proposal. I was saying it just looks great, so thank you. That's really beautiful, put together very well.
Yeah, the beauty of it is for Jen, obviously she's an auto, and so she's taken that. We already did it once for a Nissan dealership. We already knew what their target market was, so she literally was able to reuse that. Well, it's the same thing for you guys. If we create something for a plumber, that you can use it all throughout your territory, because most of the data is going to be correct. So, if I was walking in everybody's shoes today, I would pick, and you guys have heard me get on this bandwagon, but I would pick a few segments that I'm going after, and I am not stopping until I get 2 or 3 or 4 of these clients billing out on a PPC or some sort of a digital marketing program that has 2 or 3 digital solutions bundled in together. So I think this is timely. We have gone through and we have been training digitally on almost every product. I mean, we have so many products that can come up on a call that we're, going back and researching and finding some more answers. But at this point, we have some core products that we'll create presentations on and, help you guys go to market with that. So any suggestions, if some of you, have come from different industries, different worlds, different presenting in your, previous lives, please bring those things to the table. Let's make it the best of the best and a collaboration of everybody's efforts. So that's my 2 cents. Did you two have anything else to wrap up? Because I do have a few things to say.
No, I mean, I think, yeah, that covers what we were going to go over today.
All right. I like to talk, so I'll jump on in here. All right, guys. As Scott said, we did go to the digital meeting. They have, quarterly to just kind of collaborate, find out what's going on. This time we kind of, each digital specialist was able to present on a topic, which was really good because there was really some nice in-depth conversations. It kind of gives the guys a good, feedback from, people doing the same thing and what they're experiencing, best practices, all of that. So a lot of good came out of that meeting yesterday. A lot of learning came out. In addition to, the results and talking about what's going on in the different markets and how it's going. And, what I can say is Michigan's moving. Michigan's moving forward fast on the digital market. I have to give Livingston their kudos in front of everybody because technically they were about 4th I believe it was the country. I have the stats that Brian said in the country as far as the digital results. And, they have just continued to move the needle in the right direction. They're exploring new products on a regular basis. And it's really coming, it's a combination of both. I mean, it's a combination of, Brett's knowledge and ability to, pave the way and find the answer on a product, but it's also like Dean uncovering an opportunity with a competitor and saying, we can do that. We're going to find a way and we're going to get out there and present this retargeting. We know we can do it. It's having confidence and conviction and swagger like Jordan, like we've got the best digital solution. So I just high five guys. I took most everybody out for drinks last Friday. We had a good time. We've got two new kids on the block over there, Libby and Leah. Leah's been with us a little bit longer, but those girls are also, just continuing to develop their digital skill set. And it's really fun to watch. And it's a team effort. It's collaborating. It's building. It's them going and getting appointments and Brett being, the support system. So that has to happen. Oni, I don't want to take, I don't want to not give credit where credit's due because we have some great performances happening at Oni. We have some people who are engaged and who are participating, but we need everybody. Our numbers are not where they need to be, and we have one of the best markets in the state to be in. Yes, it's more competitive, but Livingston is considered the same DMA. So we have to do it. We have to move the needle. Joanne Levine, high five, girl. She has been out 3 email blasts. And I have to tell you guys, and Joanne, I hope you don't mind, but when she came and interviewed with us, she told us, I am here because I want more to offer my clients. I know that marketing is moving to the digital arena, but unfortunately, I don't have that. My background in that isn't as strong as I want it to be. She told us that up front, and she told us she was willing to learn and understood that we needed her to hit the ground rolling digitally. She has done just that. She's engaging, she's learning, she's asking questions, and she's landing sales. So awesome job. Several of you, Amanda, you're getting some new stuff, being new to the company. Nice job. If I'm not mentioning everybody, please excuse me, but guys, we got to get it moving. And, we can only ask so much, and then it becomes, where is the missing link? Why isn't this group, when I'm having Battle Creek, Michigan, and Port Huron, Michigan, saying that every single one of their reps are hitting the month on digital, I'm asking myself, what's happening? And it comes down to activity and prospecting. It comes down to your willingness or your swagger. I mean, if you're out there beating the streets, fantastic. But if you're not closing the deals, then there's a gap and you need to raise your hand. I'm working so hard. I'm out there prospecting, Janie, Kelly, Grace, Lisa. I'm doing all of that, but I am not able to get an appointment, or I am not able to close a digital appointment. Then we can help you there, because therein lies, there's a conviction issue, or there's a training issue that we need to take another step with you. There's also, I've told everybody, I need you to take ownership in this. I need you to take the next step. So I'm really looking to wrap up P9 with a bang on digital, a heavy focus on digital to make sure everybody crosses that line. And Q4. I mean, I've been here for 6 months. I now know what happens. I now know the training that's going on. There's no excuses. You have managers, you have digital specialists that are fantastic. They are with you, walking with you by your side. We're all willing to get in the car with you. You've just got to ask. And if we don't have people asking, then we think you get it. So the bottom line is, we've got to move the needle. We've got to improve results. And I would like to see in this next, 4 months of this year that we absolutely move this needle. So what I'd like to do is bring Jordan Moss on. He has been someone that's consistently hitting his digital objective. And sometimes if he's not hitting, he's sold something, but it didn't get through the system on time. Bottom line is, he's out there every single day making it happen. And I just want him to kind of chime in and hear from someone that's getting it done.
Well, thank you, Janie. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good week. It's Wednesday, right? No, it's Thursday. Sweet. Still drinking my coffee, waking up a little bit. So really it comes down to forecasting and, getting your foot in the door and talking to the right person and, almost like earning the right to talk or build up an opportunity. I've had a lot of success with just getting our clients to, do more digital by testing the waters with print. There's a lot of clients out there that don't advertise in the newspaper anymore. So to be able to strategically combine print with digital, I think that's, the best recommendation, especially from above. Or you could go other way around. You could go in there and present digital and, present all of our print options, but ultimately it's our goal to, have a happy medium between the two and build a customized solution.
Jordan, what do you?
I'm not. Go ahead.
When we're out and we get, because this is probably one of the crooks that people run into. Like when you are out with someone and they start saying no, what is your, what do you do? And just let everyone know, what's your strategy when someone starts going down the no road? Because I think that's what everyone gets hooked up on, and then they say, okay, well, they just don't want to do that, or they don't want to hear about digital, or they don't know about digital. When somebody opposes you, what's your strategy and what's your mindset after you feel like you're going down that road with a client?
Well, I usually just switch gears and say, well, we've had a lot of success, depending on what we're talking about. Like I could say we've had tremendous success with Facebook advertising, with non-traditional, and building up a fan base locally with social media, increasing traffic to your Facebook page. I mean, it really depends on what the industry is, but if someone says no, I usually find a way to talk us up some way. And I know that we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and you talk about what I do great is I sell the idea behind the idea, and not necessarily present the solution, but how is the solution going to benefit you and what you can do with it.
So you're painting a picture. You're building a picture of the dream of what this can do for the client. Another way, Brett, just to chime in here on the nose, you have to set it up, and you have to continually ask questions. You know what, Mr. Customer, I completely understand that this is something you may not be interested in right now, but tell me a little bit about your marketing needs. I mean, what exactly are you looking to do? what do you love about what you're if you're not interested in doing something with me, what are you currently doing that is really working for you? We may have a product that we could add on that would absolutely enhance how that your current product is performing. So, you know, whatever, if they just have a website and they're not interested in PPC or SEO, we've got this amazing display product. Let me explain this to you. Or, you know, ask permission to proceed, but always get your customers into a very conversational situation where it's not, I'm telling you, or I think you should do that. That will always end up in a non-sale. You have to be, you know, the needs assessment part of a call, you know, and it really does depend on what part of the call you're in. Are you in a present and close? Are you in a needs assessment when you're getting that no, and how you proceed? But continuing to ask questions in both of those will add open-ended questions, will also turn the sale around. Many times if I'm on a ride day and we've got that situation, all I do as the second seat is start asking questions. Start asking questions. Well, you know, again, how do you feel about your current program? Is it working? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? You know, and then all of a sudden it's taken that pressure off. I'm telling you to do something with me. You know, you're getting them to talk about what's going on with their stuff. So.
And I just say I wouldn't give up just because they said no. You really have to be persistent. The life cycle or the buying cycle of a lot of these digital solutions are a lot longer, as a lot of you are aware of. You know, it could take 6 months. I mean, if you know, it could take, you know, one meeting and you could, you know, hit it out of the park and, you know, close on everything you're presenting. And, you know, it's a great feeling when you can go to it, evaluate needs, and they say, let's do everything, you know. But you got to, you know, package and market yourself in a way where you have all the information there, where if they're ready to make a decision right then and there, I know some people say yes, some people say no, but like if they're willing to, you know, sign a contract on the spot, I think go for it. That's just me, but I know that there's people out there that, you know, are back and forth and, you know, between running businesses and their personal lives and not right now and not right now, and being able to just keep, you know, following up there and, you know, being tactful. I mean, it's kind of like a cat and mouse or a chess game where, like, I'm a hunter and, like, they're going to be on my radar, and I got their business card or their ad tacked up on my wall, and I got their email, and, you know, I'll keep in touch with them. I mean, just with Capital Homes, it was a PPC campaign that I've been pitching for 10 months. I started talking to them last October, and, you know, it finally, you know, I talked to them when the ground thawed out, and yeah, I think we closed that in, was it June or July? But it was almost like 10 months between the first contact, and then I got them to sign a 12-month PPC campaign.
How much was that?
That was $1,500 a month for a year.
Yeah, so $1,500 a month subtracted off your $6,000 goal a month because you sold a 12-month contract.
And then you can just keep adding on to it by building those puzzle pieces, or those building blocks. That's a better word. Having these building blocks.
Mm-hmm.
You have like 3 or 4 accounts like that every month, you're going to hit goal.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. So when you can have a PPC or a Facebook that's running every 4 months, I mean, I just had Fowlerville Dental renew yesterday. They weren't happy. Go Digital messed up their geo modifiers, but like we got things straightened out. I made them aware that it took 2 to 3 months to really, you know, optimize the PPC campaign to start really getting the results. But between all the reporting and the dashboard and the stats and drilling down to the numbers, the only thing that mattered to them was that they're ranking on the first page of Google. So like I took a screenshot, printed that out, and that had more say than anything else that I was talking about. And they renewed for another 4 months. So, and then they would talk about, you know, lining up the budget for next year. Like I was already having that conversation as I'm securing the 4-month PPC. I'm already talking about 2016 and how we can grow that opportunity next year and get a bigger piece of that budget, because I know they need a new website and it's right around the corner. So like you got to keep optimizing your solution. It's not just a one and done with PPC. It's like, how are you going to over deliver? When I was presenting the $750 a month, I was showing the amount of impressions that they were losing, how it was recommended to increase their budget to $1,500 a month, but they didn't want to go to $1,500 a month. I'm like, okay, well, let's go to $1,000 a month. I think you'll get more phone calls. And she's like, no, we're fine with $750. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I was happy that they renewed, but, you know, my recommendation was to increase their ad spend. But, again, that's another building block. So just between Fowlerville Dental and Capital Homes, that's $2,250 a month for me in my pipeline, and that's just 2 accounts. So you're like, you just keep adding on to that. And,
yep.
It's like, and then once you build that, you can start selling into local display and trying to, you know, do what you got to do to hit your number.
Right. And really our goal is not to have just one product. You know, we're a solution provider that has the best solutions in the marketplace. So having 2 and 3 solutions per client is ultimately, that's your goal. That's where actually it's going to be a measurable goal that we're going to look at next year. How many products do you have per client? How many digital products does that client have with you? And because that makes that client stickier. The retention rate of that client versus a one product or these digital sales they're just 1 month. I mean, man, you guys got to do a lot of work for that. I mean, I would be selling 6-month, 12-month contracts only. That would be kind of my line. If you have to do a 4-month because that's what they're going to sign, you know, please talk to your manager about it. But, you know, in certain products, it's probably fine with. But really, you know, out there in the digital environment, why do they want to rediscuss it every, you know, 4 to 6, you know, you got to do it 6 to 12 months. Keep that, you know, in your pocket. The other thing, Jordan, talk a little bit about your prospecting and, you know, you guys are blitzing every single week in Livingston, or every other week in Livingston. And I consistently hear, yeah, I got that one from prospecting. Yep, got that, you know, walking through the door. And I know you're out doing it on your own as well. Talk a little bit about that.
As far as prospecting, I mean, it also comes down to doing your research too and seeing where they're ranking on the first page of Google, if their competition's doing PPC. I think a great elevator pitch is getting your foot in the door and like trying to show them, you know, a before and after for what a mobile website looks like, just because it is a cost-effective solution. It's only $69 a month, and it's pretty cool. And there's a lot of businesses out there that have money that don't have mobile-friendly websites. And like that pretty much opens up the conversation to present your entire product line. You just gotta get that, you know, people drag their feet when it comes to making decisions like that. You got to get them interested and, you know, engaged with the conversation. As far as prospecting, it could be, you know, try to stay at least 2 months ahead. So like by the time you're in mid-September, you're already selling for October, November, and December. Like right now, I'm working on like proposed advertising schedules for, you know, the next 12 weeks out. You know, I don't want to like waste my time with like one ad at a time. I rather work smarter and try to like just plan out my advertising through the end of the year. So then I'll be in a position come November, you know, once I've, you know, getting them results and they're, you know, got a good working relationship with me, then I'll be in a better position, you know, closer to that 10 to 12 weeks where I can, you know, get them to advertise for the entire year for next year. But prospecting, I mean, you can throw in a search on Google and pull up Google Maps and look into your territory and just type in business, and you can see red dots everywhere on Google Maps without having to really drive around. I mean, I like to do a windshield survey and just have all of my marketing and all my folders and all my one sheets and all my information on me and just drive around. And like, if you missed a turn around, go back. If you haven't been there, if you've driven by the same building or strip mall or shopping center, you know, 100 times and you haven't gone in there. I mean, I'm guilty of that, but, you know, you just got to make time and just, you know, run with it. And then knowing when the best time to go into these businesses are. So, I mean, it's a lot of work to go into restaurants, but you know the best time to go into a restaurant is probably like 4:30, 4 o'clock, and then picking up business cards wherever you go. And, you know, it's no secret. I know there's veterans around us that, you know, Lisa's always handing you magazines and ads and stories and trying to give you leads that way. But it really just comes down to prospecting. And I think Janie gave us that there's like a Excel sheet with like the peak seasons for all the different industries within all the verticals too. And if you take a look at that and just spend, 10, 15 minutes really trying to decode that for what's, right around the corner. I know landscaping is coming to an end and people are thinking about winterizations and what's trending, and, that's a good, hit. But like taking the money that they already made during their peak season and reinvesting it into their website and their foundation, that'd be a good time to do that too. So, there's endless possibilities. There's so much money out there. It's just really putting together a strategy and, mirroring what works. If something doesn't work, you learn from a mistake, you correct it. And then when you do find something that works, you just mirror it. You personalize it to the other company's brand marketing within that same industry, and you just, repeat that success. I don't know. You go round and round.
Good job, Jordan. And, I'm sure, Jordan, if you guys want, have, questions, I'm sure he would be welcome to a phone call. If you guys want to hear from a peer that's, living it, doing it right now in the marketplace, I don't think he would deny a phone call or a quick email like, hey, what'd you do? And the other thing Jordan did really well when we came out with the segment targeting, and he went out and he hit dentist and he went and started proposing to all dentists, and, he did. He landed 2. One still, we're working through the process with one, but the other one's, up and running. And, now it gives him ammo. It's in our playbook that, the playbook's done, guys. You guys, if you want, I'll show you examples of it as I get into the offices. But we've got the process of making 20 of these things, and they're not little. They're nice. So, and then you guys will get a digital copy right away. So those of you that have iPads, it's a fantastic presentation if you're talking about one of the products. So we'll get that out to you. But the cool thing is it's got the results. It's got all of the results of campaigns currently running in our operation. So that hopefully gives you guys some swagger, and then we will just continue to add ones from all over the state. Everyone's going to send me some of their top 10 over the course. As soon as I get them, we'll just start throwing emails out, and you guys can add them to the book and stuff like that. So, I know we've run over. I felt it's very important, because we've got to move the needle. And O&E just had a fantastic incentive. I got it approved. It's unfortunate that we have to get it approved to do it this way, but it is a way for you to step up, own the game. You are digital sales reps with a digital sales position. It's a requirement of your job. O&E just got any rep starting, today basically, that sells a PPC program for, it has to be a minimum of 6 months, will get an iPad. So as you sell it, we'll just keep ordering them until everybody gets them. So that's going to go through the end of the year. If someone does not get a PPC by the end of the year, I don't know. We'll be having some discussions. So let's get out there. Let's get those pipelines full. Let's think big. Think outside of the box. Self-education. If you don't know a product at this point, it's your job to figure it out. Go get in the car with someone that does. You both have excellent resources in Scott and Brett. They've extended themselves to beyond my expectations. And I at this point, if you have a peer that you want to watch a role play, or obviously your managers, we can sit down and we can role play with you, but we have to change the status of where we're at right now, and we have to move the needle. So going forward, the expectation is if we don't see improvement, we are going to expect some hands on your shoulders, people in the car, expect some, a little bit tighter management strategies to make sure that we help you get across that line. So let's go out, have a great day, have a great wrap to this week. Everybody focus on P9 and wrapping up P9 and making sure that you have the best of the best digital performance that you've had to date. So have a great week, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Hey, Brett, Christmas in the Ville, man. You there?
Yeah. We'll talk about it after. I'll call you here in a second.
All right, later, man.
All right, see ya.